Okay, so hello, guys. The break is over. Come back, and get your camera ready. We would like to welcome our guest expert, my friend and colleague from Greece, Professor Konstantinos Petridis, professor in laser physics. You guys are future engineers, and we also have an engineer here. Okay, so we are studying for this intensive few weeks together, learn about different AI tools, different applications, and you guys are preparing to organize your own student conference. It's going to be our third international online student conference. We will launch this in at the beginning of September. So all of you guys will be speakers, presenters, right? You will have to present your perspective, your use case. Since this is an online conference, the vibe is different. We'll see if Kostas will refer to the difference between face-to-face presentations or online presentations. In this course, you will be actually practicing online presentations, but if my other Israeli students are joining from other courses, some of you guys also presented live face-to-face in class. So this is very important. I asked you at the beginning of this semester about your experience delivering presentations, giving presentations in different events, organizing events. Some of you have more experience, some of you have less experience, or none. Also, we already have been working intensively for a couple of weeks, and I've heard you speak English. Some of your English is really, really great. You're fluent, and some of you maybe struggle a little more, and probably you would need to practice more, to rehearse before you present, so that the audience can actually enjoy the content, right? We will talk about all of these important details today. So I would like to introduce Professor Petridis from Greece, from Hellenic Mediterranean University. This is the brand of the university here. I don't know if you can see it in the cup. I'm just enjoying my hot drink. Hi Noah, thank you for joining. I'm happy to see you. So we have a student also from Israel. We'll have a few more. There is a little schedule clash, so Kostas, I apologize. We will have some students joining a little bit later. And in China, our schedule is 15-minute lesson and then 10-minute break, but we can, go straight, and then we will maybe finish a little bit earlier, before 1, if that's okay by the students as well. I'm pretty sure it will be fine with them. So we can actually finish at 20 to 1. If you want to finish earlier or later, again, it's up to you. We will be flexible with you, right? So let's begin. I will make your co-host just in case if something happens to me or my user, you will be in charge of this, and you will be running this as a host. So let me just assign you as a co-host. The situation here is very tense in Israel, but for now we are enjoying the regular international session on Zoom. Okay, Kostas, the floor is yours. You can introduce yourself and begin with the importance of giving presentations and how to do it right.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, in China. I suspect that they are quite ahead than us.
I'm very in China.
I'm very happy to be with you. I don't know if I'm going to cover all the aspects on how to make a presentation, before, during, and after the presentation happens. I will be focused. I will start also with the scientific communication, which is a part of our life. All of us, we are part of a university. So the story is one, but I will give some introduction and some activities regarding scientific communication. Starting from the scientific communication, I will move on to presentation tips, more things you can build based on your experience. Experience is something that we cannot count with years, but from the number of engagements. The more that you engage, the more experience you are building. So a lot of times I can hear people, they say to me, like, I'm in this position 30 years. And when he starts or she starts to speak, you say, like, it's impossible. So it's a matter of engagement. So try to be to get engaged as much as possible in presentation or whatever other things you are doing. So I will share my screen in order to start my presentation. Let me try, to share, the.
Yeah, I would like to encourage all of you guys to take notes, to think of your own like insights. I'm already writing something in the chat for you. Like I will also support your note taking. I think it's a great idea that you should view experience as the number of attempts, right? The number of times you've tried and you've engaged in an activity rather than just years. You're all young, but you can already be more experienced, right? Once you are brave enough to try.
So I suspect that you can see my full mode presentation. Am I right?
Yeah, we can see like the
Okay.
speaker side. So if you can, you need to switch something because we can see the outline and all the.
Okay. So I need yes, to change the now.
Yeah, perfect. Now it's okay. Excellent.
All right. Excellent. So I will start. My name is Kostas. I'm associate professor in laser physics. I'm also a vice director of internationalization and extroversion, and by my position and by my character, I'm doing a lot of presentations. I mean, I'm doing a lot of presentations. I'm doing like without my teaching activities, probably, I'm doing like 6-7 presentations per month. But I'm doing a lot of mistakes. I think that I'm doing more mistakes than the correct things. So I will try to direct you from the mistakes that I'm doing in order to finalize and tailor your presentation skills by yourself and through the discussion and activities that we are going to have. I would like you to keep, something as a motto regarding presentation. As I told you, I will start with this research communication in experts and non-experts, which is a part of our life, in order to attract funding and also to promote the knowledge that we are building in the universities, but also the policies that the civic engagement of universities would like to encourage for social challenges, as COVID, for example. So it's like how to convey the scientific truth, and you will see why I'm talking about this. This is like, some outline of my training presentation. So I will start to welcome and honor you the brief introduction to the importance of the communication science and the objectives of my presentation. I have prepared for you the Mentimeter in order to scan and interview you about the importance of the scientific communication. If you don't have an access to menti.com and using this code, please tell me. In this case, if you don't have an access through China to these tools, you can switch on your microphone and you can share with me why communication within the university, otherwise scientific communication is important. So if you have an access to menti.com, please let me know in order to share my screen, another screen, in order to check your results. So do you have an access to the menti.com in China?
Let's check. I'm gonna send everyone a link.
If not, it's not a problem. You can switch on your microphone and you can share with me your opinion. Probably we can do this if you don't have an access.
Give them some time to check.
Do they have an access?
Let's see.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let me stop sharing the screen in order to share, your feedback. I hope that everything will be fine. Load and share my screen. So why scientific communication is important for you? Why you need, as a teachers, as a students right now, to present your work or to present the work that happens in your university. Why is this important? You should think as a scientist, future scientist, you should think as a student that you would like to promote more, let's say, more internationalization, more collaboration through teaching, through research in your university, but also you should think as a citizens as well. Why the universities should present their work. So if you can join to themendi.com and use this code 8543029999. I have shared my screen, no?
Yeah, we can see that. It takes time to actually, it's not an easy question for students, especially to
That's why I explained to them from which point of view they should check it. As a students, as citizens, and as a part of the university. Why we should present what is happening in a university to our society, to our colleagues as a students, and as a future researcher to the community. Okay, to promote science, to make it more accessible to the public. Very correct. I'm going to analyze this. Very correct response. As a science, communication can help in getting funds from more resources. As a student, it can help understand more difficult topics. Excellent. We are going to focus on how do we address more difficult topics in order to be accessible to the decision makers, because the communication happens to decision makers to find funding. Excellent. To let stakeholders embrace digital technology related solutions we offer, to convince external parties that we are serious. Excellent. Science is not a private or personal the truth innovation. Yes, we need to promote the knowledge and the technology. Diploma science is something that China is doing excellent, like what is happening in the research laboratories, what kind of curricula. You have been announced the most international universities in the world right now. You compete USA regarding internationalization. So this is part of scientific communication. Scientific helps the general public to understand complex scientific concepts and embrace them. Very correct. I think that you are doing very well. To find funding, because as for scientists, we need to have more communication with other minds, to have the brainstorm to improve our minds. Excellent. The confirmation of processes also is very important. We are going to discuss a little bit to share the views and combine different fields. Excellent. I will move to the second question because this is like part of the warming up. And I would like, what are the biggest challenges in communicate scientific information? What are the difficulties? Your motivation, what did you mention? It was excellent, very correct. I think that you captured the majority of the things that I would like to say in my first transparencies. I will enhance them with a few details. But why scientific information and scientific communication gets complicated sometimes? Excellent. To make it understandable for non-experts. Excellent. You need to use specific language in order the non-experts to understand. Popular science are the topics and the publications that provide you an excellent example. Science diplomacy, how to communicate the research, the educational programs to diplomats in order to promote a country, in order to promote the collaboration between nations, and also to promote the values of a country or a university, needs to use a specific language, avoiding, let's say, for example, technical acronyms and technical jargon that a non-expert could not understand. Do not scare my audience. Yes, sometimes, yes. If you are going to talk to me about computers, I have no idea, apart of switch on and switch off my computer. If you start to speak, very technically, I will be scared. Or my attention will be skipped. It's not easy to speak the language of your target audience. Excellent. You cannot ignore the cognitive difference. How to introduce your thought to a person who are not familiar with this field is difficult. Yes. but also is a strategy, because the funding comes mainly from committees that they are not so expert, or non-expert also participate in these committees. People tend to favor information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs. Yes, you present your truth from one side, but right now in research, you need multidiscipline. So you need to communicate with other disciplines, starting from marketing, starting from, let's say, the politicians, but also biologists, physicists, IT experts. Excellent. So I think that, science is serious. The details are not easy to pass between different people in different fields. Relevant, excellent. So I will stop. The presentation here, and I will go to a more details, during my presentation. I think that you are aware of a lot of things on what we would like to say. I will share my screen again with my slides, and you can see the full screen, the normal one.
No.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
This thing, but it's easy. Now it's easy. Okay. So thank you very much for your participation in this. I think that you have a very good awareness what is scientific communication. I will start with what did I say with my students. I mean, scientific communication is exactly what did you say. Someone mentioned that we should be serious, but also we have a duty in order to promote the knowledge. So whenever you are doing scientific communication, somehow, I mean, publications or presentation in conferences is one of the most usual, interaction and interface is like to promote the knowledge. Knowledge, there's a borderline between what do we know and what we don't know. So by scientific communication, the first input is like to push this border towards, what do we know? And this is a very important activity because also this creates the opportunity of new technologies to be invented. And also you are trying to promote the evidence-based truth, which is a duty of anyone that is a part of a university. So you promote knowledge by scientific communication, by communicate what are you doing as a student, as a researcher, as a university. You promote and you introduce new technologies, and part of this race probably it's going to be yourself as innovators. A lot of innovation comes, from Israel, from China, and also you need to promote through the community, but also through the society, the evidence-based knowledge, in order, let's say, to fight some rumors or some myths that they exist, regarding how we should use technology, how we should use artificial intelligence, and anything else related to what we produce in the universities. So the objectives of my presentation today is like not to learn you, because I don't know myself how to make a presentation, but to share with you, some tips and some important things in order to understand and to realize and aware of how important it is to do presentations. I will say to you, engage in any opportunity, because it's a unique way to demonstrate your work. It's also a unique way to demonstrate your university, the reputation of your university, the achievements and the values of your country, and also to build your branding. If you are not exposed to make presentation, if you are not exposed to disseminate your work, I mean, no one will know you. And you would like to attract funds to build research laboratories, to build research groups, to sell your products if you are going to become a technology tycoon or a company owner. So you need to do this. And in order to do this, another thing that we're going to do, another priority is like to identify, to have a motivation. What are the challenges regarding society, regarding your stakeholders, regarding the research community? What are the needs? What are the things that they don't know in order your contribution to have an impact, your presentation and your communication to have an impact and push, towards, the known things and things that we can exploit through your presentation. Also, we are going to highlight some tips regarding on how to make a presentation, following all the stages before, during, and after. And these are the presentation skills. However, because we are talking about soft skills are everything. I mean, everything is a soft skill. Either you are doing time management, either you are doing, you have the appropriate body language in order to make presentation. Of course, back up with your knowledge and technical competencies. Also, how to deliver a presentation, what kind of means you are going to use, your camera, the position in the camera, your voice, the rhythm of your voice, how are you going to design your slides, when are you going to use bold fonts or italic fonts. These are the things that we are going to discuss. And also, we're going also to highlight, things about body language. Either this is online or face-to-face. Both, all these principles are important. The role and the impact of scientific communication is very, very important, and I will move very fast because the majority of the things you have also included, but we are going to highlight. I'm going to discuss with you some, details. As I told you, you are not only promoting the knowledge, but because you are sharing the knowledge, and this is a must. We are a scientist and we should share ethically, which means only the truth and reconfirm processes, of our science and of our knowledge. This is not only promoting technologies and knowledge, but inspires other people. How many of you have been inspired by your professor, by your mentor, in order to follow the topic that you are doing, and later on to follow and establish technologies or new research outcomes as a result of your effort and your communication? You cannot be a professor, you cannot be a scientist, you cannot be a businessman, you cannot be a citizen if you don't communicate in an appropriate way. And appropriate way means the language that you are going to use, the technologies you are going to use, the media that you are going to use, if you are not doing this. So it's very important to communicate and in order to inspire others. You promote in this way the collaboration with other colleagues, with other groups, with other companies, sharing resources, sharing ideas. What is brainstorming? What is brainstorming? Brainstorming is communication. It's like, if you are talking about science, it's scientific communication. If you are talking as a citizen, something that your neighbor is facing, is also a communication, and present your ideas, good ideas, also, mistakes that you are doing. Is something that, you should have on your mind. Core element of a presentation is the collaboration that you should have. And what you would like to do, building network regarding, other scientific groups, but also people that in order to promote your science, to be used in order to promote, in order to attract funding as well. So presentation also validates your findings as well, because only when others, they know about your results, they can apply them again, and this reconfirms your finding. These are the citations that we receive because of our work, the references that we are doing in order to invite in our classroom other teachers. This, it happens only when we communicate in a proper way. And also, as you very correctly have mentioned, you promote and you facilitate your results, your findings, in order other people, the society, to encourage and use your results, and your results to be used in order to be a reference. Who is Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs was someone that has not finished a university, but he has communicated, he has collaborated his work in such way, he has addressed needs of the users regarding the need of the mouse, the need of the windows, the packaging of his product, in order to be, such a famous technology tycoon, and Apple be now a reference point. In Europe, we have a lot of projects that, promote this scientific communication and presentation and request this collaboration and sharing of the results through collaboration and presentation, like the Erasmus that is applicable to China as well. We have a Chinese university in Hellenic Mediterranean University that we promote staff and student mobility. Results like that, how well they have communicated their findings comes from Apple. And actually between these two people that demonstrate something very important, demonstrate the impact of multidisciplinary. One of them was the engineer, was the mind of everything that happens, Wozniak, and the other one was the manager, that he has captured, the innovation of what they have done, and he has communicated, his result in an excellent way. So this shows to you also why collaboration and communication is very important. A full example of scientific communication and its impact in all the ways is COVID-19. Vaccines that they have been introduced using the fundamental science in laboratories. Then the scientists, they communicate, the impact of the vaccines to politicians in order to be able to realize that what, the scientists they promote is safe for the community. Politicians understood, the impact of this vaccination, and they communicate to the society that we should be vaccinated. And this was the success of COVID-19. It was the success story of how fast now, through globalization and through the digitalization of everything, different disciplines, biologists, doctors, physicians, politicians, diplomats, because this should be applied globally, have communicated in order to have this success. So this shows to you that scientific communication and presentation, because presentation could be oral, written, and what kind of impact could have. And there are other projects globally that they demand this communication and this presentation of various scientists from different disciplines, politicians, societies, like, the climate change, in order to promote new technologies, green technologies. Green Deal is something that is a priority in Europe, and I suspect in China, in Israel, and everywhere, that scientific knowledge should be communicated in a specific type, in a specific, successfully, in order politicians and funding agencies to support what we are doing in the universities. There are a lot of challenges regarding, I will say, scientific communication. The main one is competition. That scientists, we think that we are the special ones. We think that we are the best people and the smartest people in the world. I think that this is not true. If we are going to ask, the market stakeholders, they will say to you, you are doing a hobby. And probably, your results, they don't have an impact. This is the key now. A lot of barriers and misconceptions between what is happening and what kind of process is the competition for funding. So we don't share the knowledge. If we don't share the knowledge between research groups, this knowledge is not transferred to the communities, to the politicians, in order to have the real impact of a communication. Another thing is like competition. Competition generates a lot of rubbish, a lot of scientific results that they are not confirmed, a lot of processes that they are not confirmed, and this generates problem. Why do you think generates problem? Why do you think that if we communicate wrong results or non-confirmed processes, why this creates a problem? You can switch on your microphone and you can say whatever you want. If I speak too fast, you should tell me.
Okay, it's okay. Why, guys? Please, it's important to ignite them. They're not like Israel students are really actively jumping and talking, and in China it's a little bit slower. But let's give them some time to think and respond. So, why do you think spreading false results, information? Because of the competition, right? People want to be on stage.
They want to publish. They want to publish or attract funding. It's crazy. And there is a very nice publication from Science, I think last week. You need to give time to scientists to think.
Yeah, Yeah, I also heard about it from the colleagues in Belgium when we were in Chania. They talked about the signs of stopping to think and slowing down. So there is a problem in spreading false results, and what is it? Why do you think? What is wrong with this, guys? You need to unmute yourselves and participate. Come on.
Never mind. I was teaching a Chinese classroom in Imperial, so I know that they have different, ethics and different, like values. So I will tell you that by spreading false results, the society will never trust science. And if society,
Sorry.
yes,
May
yeah,
may
please.
I ask a few things like because so what are you specifically referring to in false results?
Okay.
Like do you include the exaggerated results or those useless results or just or do you include like those two results?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. I cannot see your name. I will call you Liao. Eh?
It's okay. Like it's okay.
Okay.
It's just a hard Chinese name to pronounce. So
All right. Excellent question. What do I mean? Okay. I mean, depends on the area, I will say, my first reaction. I'm coming from also my research activities include solar cells. And in the solar cells, the absolute values, the performance of a solar cell is very important in order to publish. It's different to say that the solar cell performance is 25%, and it's different to say 26%. So over-exaggeration in STEM, in science, technology, engineering, is a false result. It's not the same. You compete even for 1%. So over-exaggeration for me is not ethical use of science.
okay.
Another thing that I will tell you is also processes. When we are describing, for example, medical processes or medical treatment or medical protocols on how to treat cancer, for example, any type of cancer, you need to be accurate. If you claim something or some new protocols that they have a better efficiency and better impact, regarding treatment, also these are false results, lies without including numbers, but included treatment steps. So everything that cannot be confirmed experimentally in order to be more accurate, for me, is a false result. Creates, drives the community to spend money without reason because people, they will try to reconfirm, and also can lead even, to death of more people. If I have not responded to your question, please come back to me.
I think it's enough. So may I recap the question that you came up with because I yeah. So we were talking about this false results. So you're asking for examples, or is this kind of phenomenon ubiquitous in like in our country, or
In
what
general,
are
I will say in
okay?
general. Also,
So just
there are papers like the publication mills, for example, that they exist, that, they produce things that AI is producing and no one has reconfirmed. For me, these are false results. False results drives to the community to search on something that will never be reconfirmed, will drive investments to something will never work, and also can, leads, to the adaptation of wrong policies. And this creates a lot of people, a lot of investors, a lot of politicians, or, people within our society to build myths, to think that, the God is responsible for this, or the God will come with the treatment of any disease that we will have. This, for me, is the main impact of non-confirmed or false results.
okay. So so actually, what I've heard for most cases is more like for undergraduate studies because for example in our country it's very commonly that every undergraduate, especially in, for example, biotechnology or mechanical engineering or those programs that are required to come up with a new idea or scientific research paper at the end of in order to graduate. So in this case, what's most commonly seen is that for example, for people who study biology, they need to generate some new results, which are actually a little bit of say either exaggerated or not so precise, because as we know in science, we can say there is a correlation between two things if we can provide some data, but the relation is not absolutely required to be clarified, because what we can do is that we say that there probably could exist, so we publish it as paper. So do you consider this as some false or inaccurate results?
No, I'm not going to consider them as non-accurate or false result if their experimental process and experimental justification at least gives me as a reviewer the feeling that this is valid. So
Okay.
you need somehow to connect, in science, in the research, of course, nothing is reconfirmed when you are doing the experiment. From the moment that you are doing an experiment and you reconfirm what are you talking about based on the existing or previous results, then you have produced something new. Otherwise, you cannot speculate. You cannot say, I think. You need to say, I think because. So if the because is not there, for me, are not, results that they will have an impact. Because any presentation should have an impact if I would like to connect with the presentation as well. And the impact can come, how many of the other people they are going to use your results, citations that each paper receives, and the impact factor and the age factor of each one of us is an indication if what we are doing has an impact. And something false does not have an impact. Did I answer?
Okay. Probably I did not express myself clearly, but I think what you said is very clear.
Okay, so another thing that creates misconceptions is like, what did you say before, is like using jargon. If you are using jargon, in people that they are not from your expertise, they are, among the audience are people like, let's say, the mayor of your town or undergraduate students that, they have not followed, they are not on the appropriate level in order to understand. This creates problem regarding your presentation or what you would like to say. And another barrier is like that you present the things only from one point of view. I mean, if the audience is multidisciplinary, you need to present that what are you doing has a sustainability, for example. For example, if I'm building a laser system, I would like, and on the audience are people from laser companies. I should show to them that the cost, let's say, of the laser system, is like particularly interested to them and also better than the competitor in order to select and use my laser. So you need to do not present your things only from your expertise, depending, of course, on the audience. You need to present also another point of view in order, to have the impact. And if you don't follow all of them and you use false, then you have this, what did happen in COVID. In COVID, however, the science has shown, of course, by the limited time that they had, that the results that they have, do not create any, serious side effects. A lot of rumors, particularly in my country, that, the vaccination was very high, but we had people in my community and in my country that they believed that COVID-19 will create, crazy things. They were people, even, educated ones, that they believed that, through vaccination, some chips are inserting to us in order to spy. These are the things that, these people, they don't trust science probably for the reasons that we have discussed. Or because the universities, they did not communicate very clear what is happening. Or the people that they have introduced COVID, the vaccines, they have not managed. So, I mean, I would like to ask you, what are your suggestions for effective scientific communication? But I think that through the Mentimeter, you have already identified this. And I will make some suggestions. before you make any presentation, before you are going to do any scientific communication, you need to identify your audience. You need to identify your audience because of the knowledge, what kind of knowledge do they have, what they would like to learn, how do they want to learn this, what kind of media you are going to use. This is very, very important in order, to engage and the audience use your results. You need to not use jargon and whatever you are distributing to them to be very clear. And you need to address, their knowledge and also to address them through the research that you are doing. I'm providing here an example about citizen science. So in citizen science, you engage the community through the research that you are doing. And it's very important in this case to communicate, presenting your work in the language that, your citizens they follow. And this is very important because if they understand, they will use your results. Another thing that you should do when you communicate or when you present your work is like collaboration. We mentioned this because this provides another aspect, another vision of what are you doing, so more impact. And you need to engage more people in your communication. You need to present your work. You need to engage collaboration because this reconfirms your processes. This shows another point of view that your results are correct. So now regarding, the techniques in order to make the message correct, at the very beginning, we say like, you need to aware your audience in order to use the language. It's like if I will go to China, I need to speak Chinese. If I would like to communicate to the majority of you. So I need to know what do you know and what you would like to know. And this brings the motivation. This is one of the most important things. When you start a presentation, whatever it is, you need to make clear to yourself and to the others, why are you doing the motivation? If we are talking about science and universities, you have a problem and you identify the problem. And this problem should be relevant to people that we are talking. If this problem is yours, stay home, speak it with your wife, speak it with your kids in order to solve it. But if you make a presentation in a conference, when you make a presentation in the town hall, if someone of you are going to become a politician, if you would like a vote, you need to address a problem that your audience face. And no one else has done this in order to show to you that through your presentation, what are you doing is innovative or provide solution to the problem. So the first thing is motivation, what you would like to address. What is the problem? This is the research question. And second is like, how are you going to address it? How are you going to answer it? What are your objectives on this? Regarding now presentations, another thing is like, how are you going to prepare your transparencies? We are moving now to the transparencies. So which means like what kind of visualization? Visualization works in such a kind of presentation, face-to-face or online, by the way that you manage your voice. If your rhythm is the same, if you cannot hear me, or if I don't highlight in order to emphasize important things, this is a problem. You cannot, stay with me as much as I wish. Visualizations, and as we will see later on, and how do we use them? Highlights my voice, manage your attention. The same things happen with the fonts. When are you using bold? When you are using italics? We are going to see how do we use numbers. A lot of times numbers, they have a meaning, but they have a meaning on how do we use them. And of course, in any presentation, you need to engage somehow with your body language, with your rhythm, with the tools that you are using your audience. And the engagement of the audience happens, in the face-to-face presentations and in a different way. Observe your audience. Your eyes should be like a radar. You need to engage them and you need to highlight your voice when, someone is missing, when someone is looking his cell phone or his phone number, his computer, you need to observe. That's why after a presentation, you should feel tired. I mean it. You should feel tired. And in order to do this, as we will see, you need to practice, practice, and practice. So if we go now to the audience, avoid, the jargon, identify what they are looking for, what do they know in order to achieve the maximum use of your finding in order to attract funding and also to attract the audience. Audience awareness is something, as we say, and you have mentioned, very important. I will keep, this message. The presentation, any presentation you are doing, it's for them. You should consider, if you consider that they don't know anything, probably people that they know, they will feel boring. If you start and think that you are in MIT and people, they should know everything, then you are missing, people they need to know on the things that you are presenting. So think that the presentation is for them, which means that you should explain very clear what you would like to say. But before this, you should know what do they know. A lot of people, before they make a presentation, they ask the following. What is my audience? Are there going to be students? Are there going to be undergraduate? Are there going to be postgraduate? Are there going to be doctorate students? Are there going to be academics among the audience? Are going to be decision makers among the audience? This dictates the content, your rhythm, even the dressing code. Because you should ask, are there going to be Americans? Are there going to be Israelis? Are there going to be Chinese? Are there going to be Germans? This dictates even the values that you are going to use, starting from the dress coding as well. So remember, when you present, you need to have a story. Story means a motivation. Story means that you have contributed somehow, even in the wrong way, that in order to address the problem that your stakeholders have, and the stakeholders are your attendees. And in order to respect your attendees, you should know the knowledge gap that they have and how you need to convey it. So in this case now, I would like you, if we have the time, if we don't have the time, probably you should do this. I mean, if Elena can help us, you can split in 3 in breakout rooms of 3 people or even for 2 people. And I would like one of you to make the presenter. I mean, you are studying something. Am I right? I think that you are not coming from the same discipline. Even if you are coming from the same discipline, just try to sell to the other person your discipline, why your discipline is important right now. The other person will pretend, in one case, that he is a scientist from the same discipline or from a different discipline, or he is a citizen. You can exchange your role. One case, you have a scientist. In the other case, the listener is a scientist from the same discipline, from different discipline, or a citizen. And you can change the roles. In this case, you are learning, or you are placing your mind to think how I'm going to present why computers are important, or why IT is important, or why digitalization of our society is important. But you need to change roles. And do this, for 5 minutes, and then I will come back with your impressions. And your impressions should be if you found any difficulties, if you found any challenges in order to convince the other, and what are these challenges? Is your knowledge, your competence, technical competence? Because this is a part of the presentation. Presentation is not only, I'm saying, like style and branding, it's also to know what you present. That's why I said to you, you need to know the knowledge gap that your attendees have, and to present this in a good way. If we don't have a time, I can go on and I can skip. I don't know, Elena, it's up to you.
Let's take maybe, it's a good exercise. We'll take 2 minutes and I will maybe just fine tune a little bit, because we are working on a conference and we are working on creating presentations about AI tools. Now, I want the students in breakout rooms to come up with 3 different audience types, right, for our event. So we will invite people, and some people will join because we will advertise on LinkedIn and Facebook, and some people will join because we will send emails through our university network. So think about like different channels we're going to invite the audience to join, and what kind of different people will be there. And I want to hear your ideas. So in 2 minutes, you will give me 3 different people and you will like think together and then you will put it in the chat. We will see what kind of ideas you have and then we will compare the results. I'm gonna put you in breakout rooms right now. And we have only like 3 minutes, okay? Let's do it fast. So identify 3 different types of audience for our conference. So you have it only 3 minutes, maybe 4. Open the rooms. Let's go. Let me, hold on, I'm gonna stop. One moment, I'm gonna recreate because we have more students now. I need more rooms. 3.
Place me in a room.
No, you are the host, so you can also.
But I will say to you that a conference is very important if you can attract colleagues from other disciplines, even rectors. This
Yes.
creates even businessmen that they are going to attract to what you would like to
I
say.
have a lot of ideas. I want my students to come up with these ideas and then we will compare. 3 minutes, 3 minutes of brainstorming. Okay, because they will use all of your ideas, Kostas. Give them some time to think. And you're right, we want business people, we want students, we want rectors, academics. Okay, great. And I will stop the recording.
Hey, let's ask this guy Peters.
Okay, guys, let's.
May I say something?
Of course.
Please.
Yes. In my room, the term persona was not known, so it was difficult for the students to understand what was expected from them.
But I think that we explained to them the roles that they have. This is the persona. The roles that they should. Yeah.
Yeah, but we had this difficulty.
Okay. So what are your ideas? I saw that you were talking. I saw microphones moving and I can like, did you come up with some ideas where you were supposed to come up with 3 different audience types for the conference?
I had one in my room, but it was my idea.
Okay. Ife Liu, do you have any ideas? What did you come up with?
Yeah. By our group discussion, we think that there might be 3 kinds of people. First, it was people who is unknown to the AI tools, who are the freshmen in this area, and the other ones might be the AI tools users. They might have a little experience using AI tools, but they want to learn more. And the second part might be the experts, the experts who develop the AI tools, and they need the information from the AI tools user. These are 3 kind of people who might interested in our presentation. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Ife. It's very, very smart that you actually went from, naming, okay, this is a student, this is an academic, to actually more specific to the topic of our conference, right? We will be talking about AI tools. So it doesn't matter if you're a student or a professor or a rector, you might be very interested in and experienced with AI tools, and you might as well be a complete beginner, right? So this will be more useful distinction. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Xiao, that you have unmuted yourselves. Do you want to say?
I would like to add a probable type. Add one, just so let's just assume we have a lot of participants. So among them, there might be some academic staff or like teachers or professors who are interested in this topic while not having that much amount of expertise. So we have some people equipped with critical thinking, but not so familiar to the topic. So we may have this type of people. So for example, I probably we have a mathematician, but he is interested in our topic, that is the AI tools. So he would participate in the conference.
Mhm.
So in this case, he is not an expert, but he always would like to think critically. Since he's a mathematician, we can take for granted he would question from the probably more of a logical point of view that how we would establish or utilize these tools for what purposes.
Mhm.
So in this case, we probably in the presentation we need to focus more on the overall organization of the topic to make sure that everything is expressed explicitly and clear and justified. That's my rough idea. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you.
Let me, make a suggestion to our friend here. I like,
Okay.
look, I mean, when you are preparing a presentation, of course, you should, I mean, during a conference, for example, the conferences, they have a very crucial information that the conference responds to this and to this and to these disciplines, okay? So, of course, when you are going to the audience, probably, there are people that, they are undergraduate, probably they are biologists, mathematicians, whoever you would like, probably it's going to be philosophers. If you follow the tips of your presentation, if you know, I mean, you have this information from the moment that you're registered or you design the conference. Try to be general but specific at the same time. Do you understand? Do not use too much jargon or explain the jargon. If your presentation is interactive, you have another chance to explain more detail, regarding the perspective of the person that has this question. And this is the period of the Q&A session, the question and answer time. So over there, you are going to have the chance to address the needs, even more specific needs of someone that your presentation has grabbed his attention. So you have chances to be more and more specific. If you are very specialized from the very beginning, you are going to lose everyone. But try to keep balance. Try to think that in my audience are going to be experts but non-experts. So try to be something in between. If the experts, they have a question and they would like to learn more, they are going to ask the question. If someone would like to learn more, he's going to make or she's going to make the question. So Q&A session is not only for answering, but also is for dissemination and promoting what are you doing. I will come to it later.
Yeah, and
I
can I
think
add
it's a good
something
idea.
also? I think it's also very important, like human nature. We are curious and we want to learn about each other's feelings and experiences. And it doesn't matter if we are an expert or a decision maker, policy maker, or a teacher or a student. We're just curious about each other. So if you make it more about yourselves and your own personal perspective and viewpoint as a user of AI or as a critic of AI or as a enthusiast of AI, this might be general enough to actually attract and interest everyone involved, because people whose business is in AI is also interested to learn about the user's experience and feelings and perspectives. And then this is what will make also audience interested in you guys. So I always recommend my students to make it central about yourself, your own personality, your own personal experience, and share this mishaps, funny situations, maybe something really personal, frustrating or exciting, something that can inspire someone else and all that. So rather than going into technical things and knowledge, like detailed things, because yeah, I don't know if everyone agrees with me, but back to you, Kostas.
Okay, so let me share my screen again. I think, let me check if I will share if not, I will share
yeah, okay, we see your computer.
You can see the right screen?
No, the other one. Go to the other.
Today I will never find it. It's like
Okay,
Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law, as we will see, applies also to the presentation, and I have some tips on this.
Exactly.
So thank you very much, for playing this role. Playing this role should be on your mind when you prepare a presentation. You should think as an expert. You should think as a non-expert in order to design your presentation. Now, usually the presentations happens through slides. And slides is something that should trigger what Elena has mentioned, to open the mind of the other people. Like in order, the others to listen to you, you should open their minds in order to be curious. It's like parachuters, parachute. Yesterday, I think that the speaker spoke like, in order to open your mind, it's like parachute, it should be open in order to operate. So we will give some tips, how you are going to prepare your slides, which is the main media during a presentation, even though that the slides are over there for reminder. Yeah, I mean, there is a principle that they used to say in any kind of presentation that you are doing, show less and speak more. It's the only opportunity that you need to speak. You need to speak a lot in order to make your case. So a lot of people, they are asking what kind of templates I'm going to use, what kind of idea. I will say use the PowerPoint or whatever, program you are using. There are tailored templates that they can capture your idea. And your idea, of course, it matches the event. If the event is a party, probably you need to use a template that, fits a party. If you're going to the biggest conference of AI, let's say in Beijing, you should use the appropriate template. However, you can tailor your template. And here is like another thing that you need to use the master slide. You need to prepare your slides from the very beginning in order to contain the logo of your university, the logo of your project, your affiliation, if this is appropriate. You need to engineer much earlier the kind of fonts you are going to use in the main text, what kind of font size and type you are going to use in the title. These are the things that happens much earlier, and in order to not repeat and in order to be consistent in the master slide. In the master slide, you align your text, and a lot of people, they are asking what kind of font, the size. There is a rule of thumb. Go 2 meters away from your computer screen and try to read, what are you talking about? Try to identify and read the images and the graphs that you contain. If you can do this from 2 meters away, you are in a good path. However, I will say here I'm wrong. Do not use fonts smaller than 20. I will say 20 and up, depending, of course, if you're in the main text. I'm talking about the main text. And also the title and the subtitle should use a different type. Here is the Murphy law. Always convert your presentation in a PDF. Why I'm talking about this? Why always PDF? If I'm going to use PDF for exam, there are no animations. There are no videos. But why always to keep a PDF as a safe house? Why? Why do you think? I repeat, it's a Murphy's law. Shit happens. Why PDF? I will tell you a story. I was organizing in 2015 a very, I will say in Europe, famous intensive course summer school with Imperial College, Oxford University, and Cambridge in organic electronics. So I was very happy that Professor Jenny Nelson, was coming in order to speak about fundamentals of organic electronics. Very cool lady, Irish. Immediately she said to me, Kostas, I would like to try my presentation. She tried her presentation. My PowerPoint was not the version of the PowerPoint that she was using. No animation. The lady got lunatic. You got lunatic. I have never expected from this. No, my animation does not work. Oh, how I'm going to do presentation? Lunatic. And I have not predicted this. I have not, updated my PowerPoint to the PowerPoint version that she had. But this can happen. If she had the PDF, everything will happen as a safe house. She lost a lot of energy in order to myself to update, herself to manage her emotions, but PDF always is there. If you go to a conference, you don't have this time. You're going with your memory stick, or you will send, always the PowerPoint and the PDF. PDF is your safe house. If nothing works, PDF will work. So keep this, and convert always your slides in a PDF.
Also, my students at the Technion, we sometimes created slides in, I don't know, Gamma or some other AI tools, and there is a link where you open your presentation as a link. So in some campuses, there is like fire block for whatever, like you cannot access these websites. And on the day of the presentation, my students could not access their created presentations on the internet. So you have to have the PDF backup, always, 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 I agree.
And also, I will tell you something else that I forgot. That it happened to me before 2 weeks. I mean, always use fonts that can be supported by the English language and by Chinese language. When you convert something in Chinese language, probably the fonts are not they don't support this language, and you are losing the format that you have very thoroughly, you have created with a master slide. So always try to use a font, Calibri, Times New Roman, the most used ones that they can be supported by various languages, and also they do not change, their format. There is a lot of question among a lot of people if you need to distribute your slides, like as a copy to the audience. Never do this. Not because you are going to hide something, because you would like, you remember, you are a scientist, you would like to promote knowledge, you would like your work to be cited because you promote new research, new identification, new ideas. But because the people, they have the tendency to look the slides during your presentation. You don't want this. However, you can control this by looking at them. Remember, the best thing that you should do, you are like a radar. You evaluate everyone within the room. That's why transparencies are back there just for reminder. If you are stressed, I will give you some tips what you should do. So what you can do is like to provide at the very beginning like an abstract, what you would like to say. And this is already available. I recommend to you, in order to follow, I would like to follow your conference. Before the conference, to have the abstracts of your talks, what you would like to present. For me to have an idea which presentations I would like to follow. I would like to follow everything, but if I have followed everything, I have time to prepare what I would like to learn. And if you don't mention this, I would like to make a question, because as I will come, the audience during the Q&A session, you need to keep them alive. So I suspect include an abstract before your conference in order to know what you would like to say. Never distribute the transparencies before the presentation or during the presentation. I have here a medi.com. We can move on. What can go wrong? And I will tell you here what can go wrong. PowerPoint is not updated to the host computer. You need to have a PDF because the animation will never work. Your phone should support, the languages that you would like to use. Probably the computer will be shut down. You need to have memorized. You need to be confident to start the presentation when they are fixing, technical problems. Probably, the projector is funny. You need to be prepared to make the presentation with or without slides. Another thing that you should be very careful is the diagrams. I like very much that I'm doing this in a Chinese classroom, because in Greece, China, of course, is very famous because it's a very ancient nation, but you are very famous of a proverb that you have. One image, 1,000 words. So even, when I'm teaching my students how to write a paper, when I'm teaching myself and my students how to start a presentation, I'm starting with diagrams. You need the diagrams to be and the pictures very clear. When I'm talking about diagrams, very clear scales, units, very clear what you would like to say. Someone starting to read your work from the title, the abstract, and then the diagrams. So they are starting to read your paper from the diagrams. If they can understand your diagrams, they are going to read the text, and you have a very high possibility to cite you. If they cite you, this means that your work has a meaning from someone else, a part of yourself. That's why you never self-cite your papers. You're not going to self-cite. If you self-cite, it's not ethical. Only if you are the first ones. If you are, let's say, Graham Bell, that you have discovered, the phone, this person has the right to self-cite his work. All right, so complicated diagrams, not well-informed diagrams. We will come back. Too many bullets. Bullets are for the war. Remember, show less, speak more. Poor images that no one can see whatever, you would like to say. Animations, too many animations. Yesterday, I went somewhere, a friend of mine opened a flight simulator. So I would like to check this. He did, a lot of rolls. I felt dizzy. The same with a lot of animation. The animations have a meaning when you are moving from building block to a building block of your presentation. Your presentation is made in building blocks, introduction, main experimental results, conclusions, and future work. In this case, you need to make, animation in order to attract and inform people that probably they have lost their attention, that you are moving to something else. Overloaded slides. I don't know if you had this experience. I had this experience that, people, they have the whole text. I have students that they have copied their thesis on the slides. This is my mistake that, they have done. But you need to avoid it. And now I'm moving to a little bit more technical things. Colors. How many colors do you think that you are going to use? Not more than 3. It's not a party. It's not a tutti frutti. And of course, you need to select the colors that match the obligation, the event that you are going to do. So try to match the colors that you are going to use, starting from the PowerPoint templates that it fits. Also fits the contrast that you are using. Typography, what kind of fonts you are going to use. Of course, the fonts depend. Bold in order to highlight. Italic if you would like, to use something that someone else has said. The size should be, as I told you, more than 20 in order to be able, someone, in the back of the audience or in the back of the room of your conference to be able to check it, even in the computer. I have seen online presentations that I could not see even if I would go there, inside the computer. And this is a show also an indication of overloaded transparency. Try to avoid this. And also be consistent. Do not use Times News Roman in one line and then Calibri and then, some Latin. Try to be consistent. And the consistency in what type of font you are going to use depends on how many languages you are going to use in order to support the conversion, but also what is more readable. And also, based on your character, as Elena has said, but be consistent. Readability, very clear images, not this picture. You are not going to use this one. Clear images, very well-informed diagrams, units, titles on the axis. Very, very important, because one image tells 1,000 words, the whole story. When you are writing a paper, start to write your paper from your diagrams, from your measurements. Measurements, very nice diagram, caption, very indicative caption, and then start to build from there. The paper will be built very easy, because the whole experiment has started from the motivation. So the introduction, that is the motivation, is already there before you start the experiment. But start to write a paper from the diagrams, and this shows to you their importance when you are doing presentation. Text, the line should be 1.5. It should be very clear. Align paragraphs. Be consistent on what you are doing. Not long text sentences. Transparencies and slides in presentations, just for the reminder. Ideally, you should not look, the transparencies. You should say a story. People remember 2 things. What do you think that do they remember? Stories and numbers. These are the 2 things that the people really remember. And the story is the motivation. What are you going to do? What you have done? And what is the future work? Why the future work? Because this gives significance to your work. If you have done something that finished the moment that you have done it, no one is going to cite your work. No one is going to say good work. Okay? So think about this. Images. Images, another detail that we should say, is the background. You cannot use white fonts in a white background. You cannot use black fonts with a black background. Things should be readable in order the people to stay. Numbers. A whole politicians can make a political career using numbers. When you compare, you use different numbers. When you have an absolute value, different numbers. When you describe AC current, different numbers. So try to identify, based on your situation, on what you would like to present, what kind of numbers you are going to use. Because this shows the story, this shows the accuracy of what are you doing. The scale. Scale, very important as well. Sometimes we are using the bold diagrams in electronics, because we would like in one scale, using logarithm, in one axis, to use all the numbers, logarithmic scale. All right? So try to identify what you would like to say, what you would like to say to the others, because this is your priority, in order to define what kind of numbers, how are you going to use these numbers and what kind of scales you are going to use in your diagrams or in your work. Structure, this is something that you should start from the very beginning. Who is the audience? What is my story? What I would like to say? What kind of experiments or what kind of information I'm going to say? How I'm going to structure this in introduction, main part of my presentation, future work. Structure is like, you are building a house. You are not starting to build your house. You need to have your plans. It's exactly what we discussed. And this is before. You need to practice, practice, and practice. And I disagree. Experience comes from practice, not by the years. The more you practice, the more experience. You more engaged, you more experience. You can be 20 years old and you can be you can have more experience than someone that is 80. Because 80, probably 8 years the first day. Do you understand what do I mean? I'm very experienced, someone told me. 20 years experience. When I'm listening to him, I realize that he does not know anything. You know what was my response? 20 years the first day. So experience does not, comes with the years, comes, of course, with the years if you are engaged. And knowledge is useful only when you apply, when you expose yourself, when you are doing presentations, in order to evaluate yourself, evaluate what are you doing by the reflection of the others. So you need to practice. And practice starts, by thinking the audience, by making, the plan of your presentation, building blocks. How are you going to say, what kind of language you are going to use, the audience, how specific or non-specific you should be. Always use the information that you know. Never do the mistake. Never would like to say what, my friend here, Si Yuan, told me. What is over-exaggeration? Never over-exaggerate in something that you don't know, because the audience is there. Someone will ask you in the same way because you are a good presenter, but you have over-exaggerated. Someone will ask you because he is attracted by your presentation. What do you mean by that? If you don't know, the main motivation to do presentation in order to build your network and build your reputation has been ruined. From the moment that the audience will realize that you don't know what are you talking about. You are going to ruin everything. So your preparation starts from there. Only present what you are 100% sure that you know. There is a trick as well that I'm going to discuss with you very soon. So aware of your audience and what do they know and what do you know. Try to memorize the first 30 seconds, especially if you are stressed, because this gives you a rhythm. Of course, you should keep the appropriate body language, and we will come on. Design the outline of your presentation, design your slides. We mentioned about this, the numbers, the colors, the slide master that you are going to use, even the preparation of the PDF. Also, part of the preparation is something else, questions. A lot of times, I don't know if this happens in Israel, in Netherlands, or in China. Students are coming to my door. What are the questions that you are going to ask? I say, no, everything. I thought, for you 12 weeks, I'm going to ask everything. You know who is the best examiner of yourself? Ourselves. It's like doing sports. You know your weaknesses. At the same time that you are teaching something, at the same time that you are preparing something to present, you know the questions. I'm betting on this. You know the questions that the audience will ask. I'm betting on this. So one part of your preparation is like to prepare a list of questions that probably they are going to ask you. Now, regarding the preparation, you should you prepare yourself after you finish your presentation during your dreams. Do you understand? When you are sleeping, you should practice your presentation. And you can then you can present in front of your closet window, in the toilet, to your girl and to your boyfriend, to your friends, to your supervisor. Even if you have the chance, go to the place that you are going to make the presentation and make, a presentation in an empty room. Why this? Because this adapts yourself to the environment. It's different to do a presentation in a small room than, let's say, in the football court of Ajax in Amsterdam. It's different. The feeling is different. So your presentation, just a moment, the way that you are going to present you are going to prepare your slides is different. If you know the venue, even the font size will be different. Because if you are going to do this in Wembley, but I will congratulate you. You know, someone is sitting 200 meters away from you. Your voice should be ready to be heard. Your slides should be ready, and yourself. The stress is different. Yes, Elena, the floor is yours.
Just to reinforce what you were suggesting, all your tips, this is exactly what some of my students experienced. Like a month ago, we had the presentations marathon. So they said, okay, how do I practice? And this is like your tips. This is what I told them. And then, yeah, some of my students presented in front of their cat, in front of their dogs, and some of the students actually went into the classroom, into the empty classroom, and talked to the walls, and, you know, really tried to simulate the real experience. And it shows when you see the students actually really presenting in front of the audience, those who practiced, who you know, took the time to, if their English is weaker, they memorized what they needed to say, but they didn't read from the notes. They actually pronounced, and, you know, even if it's memorized sentences, you don't even notice it, right? And about the additional questions from the audience, as a student, I have my own personal story. As a student, I didn't know what questions I would be asked in a conference, and one of my conferences
I'm
was.
telling you, Elena, I'm sorry. You know, you were not well prepared. You should know the questions that they are going to be
But
asked.
I wanted to share how I prepared for the next conference.
Ah, excellent,
I
excellent.
went to a conference with my PhD supervisor, very experienced presenter, and we presented together. So I presented part of the slides, and she presented part of the slides. It was actually an amazing learning experience for me, inexperienced back then. I just was in charge of a few slides, and she took the charge of all the questions. And what I did, I actually wrote down all of the questions that the audience asked. And the next time I presented my PhD paper, I already presented myself from the beginning to the end. And all the audience questions, I had additional slides with the expected questions from the audience, because I already had the experience. And believe it or not, some questions actually were repeated. And then I said, okay, it happens that I have a slide for it. And it was really like brilliant. So it's one of the strategies. Like, think about the questions you might be asked. And if you don't know, you have AI. You can ask ChatGPT to help you. And like, what questions can audience ask me? And then generate some, you know, possible responses, even create some additional slides just in case. And it actually works.
Another thing that it works is, like, you know, to attend also not only your lecture or not only your presentation in a conference or within your university, but attend the whole event, because this helps you to identify who are the people that they are asking questions, how difficult questions do they ask, you know, how the others do they respond. And I will give you more tips. Somehow, because Elena mentioned about AI, the period that I was a student, of course, you can predict that AI was not there, right? So there is a strategy to engineer, you know, questions, like somehow to leave something a little bit with a doubt in order to lead people to ask these questions. But you should be, you know, presentation is something very active, very dynamic, and the ruler is you. That's why it's one of the big advantages of presentations. In the ancient Greek, we used to say about people that they are speaking, and, you know, you have the power to direct the minds of 100 people during your presentation. So it's a unique opportunity to build your reputation. So as I say, another thing is, like, plan your time. Probably you would like to say a lot of things. You should know how much time do you have. If you don't respect the questions, the time of questions, because you have overdone it, people, they don't have a good opinion about you, because you don't respect to them. You need to keep time for the questions. Presentation skills. Wow. I think that, you know, I mean, probably, you know, this is very important. To be well prepared, body language, like to respect with the way that you are looking and you are interacting a lot. What they used to say? What you don't say counts. Before we say about presentation, speak more and show less. Keep another tip as well. You know, whatever you don't say with your body language, inform the others if you are stressed, if you know what are you talking about. If you respect them. You need to respect your audience. You need to observe your audience. You should not rotate your back of your audience. You should have a dress code depending on the situation, on the company that you are going to make an interview, because you are going to present yourself over there. You know, the values of the conference the values of the company. Try, to have the appropriate body language. As I told you before, and I think Elena mentioned about English, about the language values. This is the highest nightmare of everyone. Like, if you are not coming from UK or from the States or from Nigeria that they speak English, what about my accent? What about the English that I'm going to use? What about mistakes? No. If you try to speak Greek and you are going to do mistakes, I will never comment anything, because I will be very proud that you try to speak my language. If I will try to make a presentation in Chinese, no one of you will tell me, Kostas, a lot of grammar mistakes. I think that you are going to feel comfortable and nice that I'm trying to speak your language. The more I practice, the better I will speak. So practice your English through presentations, but don't worry and don't be stressed about your accent, about your mistakes that you are going to do. These are the things that you are going to improve through engagement. So if you have the chances to follow English courses, online, face-to-face, if you have the chances to make a presentation, this is the last thing that you should be stressed, the English. Do not read your slides. If you are stressed, be 45 degrees, to the slides and to the audience. Never rotate your back, Never do this. Ideally, you should feel comfortable. If there is a desk that you can hide yourself, do not use it. Go away. This is like an armor. The people that you would like to protect. If you are stressed, have a glass of water. Drink some water, think a little bit, give time to the people to think more on what did you say, and this will handle your stress. If you are stressed, try to be focused on people that they smile to you, the people that they are accepting to you, in order to get better emotions. Q&A session. Wow, the most important thing in my life. Question time. Because this is like a test. If you had an impact, what are you doing is, if what you have present is clear, if what you have present is interest, if you know what are you talking about, if you have the critical mind in order to present something that is not beyond your knowledge, respect the time of the Q&A session, respond polite, don't respond even if you have become very famous. Oh, you should know this. This is a wrong response. And also, in some cases, of course, there's going to be situations that you don't know. Do not afraid to say, like, I'm not sure for my questions right now. Let's keep in contact in order to communicate and, reach, the most, correct answer, or the correct answer. We don't know anything. We are not the best. We are not the worst. Every day we are getting progress. We should be clear on this. So do not afraid to say that I don't know. If you say this, only in this situation you are going to get improved. The best feeling that you can have is like to be the worst in a room. Do you understand? To be the worst. But also to have the desire to work and get progress. This gives you a lot of potential. So, conclusion and future actions. Conclusion is like you should follow all these 4 steps. Identify your audience. Identify the knowledge gap. Identify how are you going to address what they don't know in the language that they are going to understand. And also evaluate the impact of what are you doing during your presentation, during citations, if we are talking about publication, etc. These are the 4 steps in general that you should follow. Yes, sir?
Yes, I have one more thing to add to the preparation part. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Go.
I often see when people make use of audio or video or a remote control,
Correct.
It typically does not work.
Correct.
So I would really recommend to test it 3 times at least before you start. And then there is Murphy's Law, always the 4th time it will fail. But just to say, don't underestimate technology. It's really annoying.
Correct. And I would like to highlight on this. Thank you very much, Peters. Rafael. Very much about this. Regarding videos, always try to integrate the videos within your PowerPoint. Integrate. There is like insert a video. This is the best way. Of course, if you are going to work with PDF, does not work, have a link in the case of the PDF in order to open. Never underestimate the technology. This is something that I should highlight. Go at least 1 hour before your presentation in order to test everything, to test, the environment, to test that, the presentation plays the way that you are going to play. The videos are there and they play, the audio is correct. When you are doing an online presentation, check, if you are going to use headphones, a headset, that it works. Try to know that the Zoom, it works never underestimate the technology. Technology can multiply the impact of what are you doing, but also can create problems. Thank you very much for this. Very, very important. Very important. And this has to do with the digital literacy as well, that new courses, they are coming. And this is what I would like to say, that we have new courses that, I think that the scientific communication presentation skills should be integrated to the life of our students from the first year. Our students, they should be engaged in presentations, every semester, a lot of times. I still remember the not good exam from my case. I finished the physics department in University of Crete, and they have never asked us to make a presentation. I moved for my master and my PhD in University of St. Andrews in Scotland, and then as a, in the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, the first month they asked me about presentation. I was panicked. I liked it, of course, because I was an athlete. So I was very extroversion. I would like the challenges and the competition, but it was my first time. I did, and I'm still doing a lot of mistakes. Try to engage. I'm talking this to the students, engage to the presentation and ask from the professors to make presentations and challenge yourself. This is the best way to write papers and also to train yourself in the skills that you should have, technical and soft skills. Science communication is something vital. Either you are going to become professors or, tycoons, technology tycoons, or politicians. This is the way that we should communicate technology in the funding. And also the multidisciplinary is there. Social sciences is very important for the STEMs, for engineering and physics. Citizen science is a part of the fundamental and the core of any technologies right now. So addressing social science principles is very, very important. You should identify the audience, as I mentioned before, and leverage any opportunity to present your work. We have a plan on how to do, and I will say the first plan is here. In a European university that I'm involved and also in Impact, we call every week people and experts to present their work. Imitation is the first lecture to learn something. You imitate Messi how to play football, or you wish. You would like to be Steve Jobs. You wish, but you read his book. You read books about innovators. You observe your mentor in your university. So try to follow, online talks that they happen, colloquia talks that they happen in your university. I have a colleague from the University of Chicago that he told me, Kostas, when I started my PhD, my professor told me, never miss a colloquia talk. You know why? Because these people know how to present their results. They know how to answer questions. They know how to respect the time. They know how to teach, because a researcher is a teacher to the young researchers. So try to follow Impact Talks, Athena Talks. I have the links. I will share the links with Elena. Everything is online. Try to imitate, and imitate the good and avoid the bad things, because this, is your character as well. It's different. Ronaldo is different than Messi. Messi is different than Van Persie. Players that you have never experienced because they are old. But anyhow, Rafael probably remembers Van Basten, Gullit, and all these players. And it's different. A different professor.
Persie is marvelous.
Okay, yeah, I prefer, Ronaldo, but this is not.
It seems that you are a big football fan.
No, I'm basketball fan, but I don't know any basketball player in China, so that's why.
Okay.
So imitate Michael Jordan. You wish to become Michael Jordan. So try it. In my conclusion is participate in conferences, observe your professors, observe online, go to the TED Talks and follow the TED Talks is the best way in order to learn how to present and tailor everything to your personality. Your personality plays an important role. Make presentations, you build soft skills that they are going to be necessary for your future employability. Critical thinking, problem solving, adaptation, manners, manners is something very important. Manners, the way how do we behave, emotional intelligence, how do we react in the Q&A session, how we control our feelings when we are feeling over exaggerated. One thing about Q&A session is even if you know the answer before the question finishes, Wait for them to finish. This gives you time, gives you, time to control your feelings, and you are behaving more confident, and also you are secure. There are a lot of good examples. Let's say the New York Times. Every Friday they have the Science Friday. They are writing science in a popular science way, in the way that you should communicate what are you doing in the laboratory to your grandmother, to your father, to someone that will give you money. All right. So remember this. And as a project, we are creating, these online coils. I will write, to our colleagues in Netherlands, today, because this is, something that we have prepared. We have prepared a whole coil course with 7 universities already on board. We hope that our friends from Fondis, they are going to join. It's in research skills, in AI, how to write a paper, how to make presentation, how to make bibliographic research, how to use AI tools for writing and learning. How are you going to use your resilience skills? And how to communicate, how to make a network, everything that, any student should know. And this starts, in October. It's free of charge, a lot of experts, they are coming. Come in order to practice your English, even your English. This is the thing. Another coil we start in October is soft and digital skills. Peters mentioned something very important. Rafael, why I'm calling you Peters, I don't know. It's like the old dog. The old dog cannot learn new tricks. I'm too old, but these are a coil, like digital skill. He mentioned never.
I forgive you.
Thank you, my man. I believe in science, so not in God. So I follow. So digital technology can be a multiplier. I like when I was in the train before 2 weeks, not last week, in Israel. I was traveling with Elena. She's a, this is a freak. She's a freak, tech freak. And I was asking, what kind of tools are you using? These tools, these tools, these tools. This is efficiency. The way that you combine your knowledge with the new tools is the way that we learn and we can progress. Time flies, competition is there. The more efficient, the better. So you can follow our virtual exchange project in everything. We have a lot of talks online. You can follow them. We have a lot of soft skills courses. We learn with AP, with the people in Fondis, in Israel. We run blended intensive programs, in soft and research skills. We would like now to go to coils, research skills, leadership. These are the things that we're going to run next year from October. You are more than welcome to follow. If you cannot follow, there are no fees. It's everything for free. Follow them asynchronously. It's always good for us. The more views, the more impact on what we are doing. So with this, I would like to play a game with you in Kahoot to realize, what you have learned. And, whoever wins, I will buy his ticket to come to Greece for free, in order to follow, for summer the bill. Don't believe me, I am a politician as well. So let's go. Let me stop sharing my screen in order to go to Kahoot, and we can have a competition. Let me share my screen. Do you have Kahoot? You can go to Kahoot in.
Let's try together. Just click on the link, guys, and see.
I will open it. I will share my screen. Let me share my screen in order to go to Kahoot. Where I am now, I'm here.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Just click on the link, and then we will see the.
I hope that start. Let me make it big. Okay, so you should go to kahoot.it. You can see here www.kahoot.it and place the pin 654757. I have 20 questions. The first that is going to win, I will buy your ticket online, to come from China to Crete, this summer. Okay. Let's review. It's a review. What did I say? So I'm going to give, 5 more minutes. Hey, no. 30 seconds. Because I have to finish, you know, in less than a quarter.
You can also scan the barcode if you want on the screen, and it will bring you directly into the game.
How do we start now?
Start. You have a start button on the
Ah, yeah. There is this. You know, someone in Zoom should tell them, you know, that they place, you know, this bar in the wrong position. This is engineering. Okay, I will start.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now it's a matter of correct question and how fast you are going to speak. How to make an effective presentation. 3, 2, 1. True or false? It is more important on how to say things than what are you saying. On how to say things, or you know, what are you going to say? What is more important in a presentation? Remember, politicians make presentations. Okay, you know, so 8, true. It's true. Okay, Noah, I think Israeli. Noah is an Israeli student. Let's see, you know, come on. Quiz. Why someone to make presentations? Select. Don't forget, during summer in Crete. I will be in the States. Excellent. All the above. Correct. To build your reputation, to understand your experience, to cultivate your soft skills. Easy. Let's see. Noah, still, you know, ahead. Jan, very close. Quiz. Multi-select. More than one right question. What is the impact of a good presentation to the audience? Okay, the correct answer, you know, 6. The first and the, so let's see. Noah, still Jan, you know, very close. Quiz. How many different types of presentation do they exist? Here, you know, I did not mention, but this is up to you. I will explain after. Sometimes, you know, the professor plays questions that you know, he has never taught. Three, we have the pitch presentations, you know, very fast presentations that you need in 30 seconds to convince someone that your solution is the best one, compared to, as a function of money, you know, competition. There are the short presentation and, you know, the presentations that we are doing in conferences or as lectures. Oh, a big change. Ovo, you know, first one. True or false? We have 20, so you have time. The most important for presentation is motivation. Remember, motivation. Before you start to present something, someone will say, why I should listen to this guy? Easy, eh? I give you the answer. True. The one that he did the mistake, what? You know. Now we have a derby. Okay, so quiz. To plan a good presentation, you should consider its preparation and delivery. Somehow, I'm glad that no one select its preparation, delivery, and the venue, because you should consider the venue as well. But during the preparation, probably it's not so. Okay, let's see. Quiz. The elements of non-engaged presentation are: if you would like to not be engaged, what are the mistakes? What are the mistakes that you should do? This is related to the motivation. You need to present something that there are people to listen. Excellent. Quiz. Which is the first step in making a presentation? The first thing before you build the presentation. Deciding the outcome of the presentation. Okay, the impact and your motivation, how it's related to the needs that the audience has. It is strongly suggested to start with a story. Remember, people remember two things: numbers and stories. And now there's a whole scientific topic, storytelling. This brings money and impact. Excellent. I'm telling you the answers. You are not listening. A part of Zin. Who is Zin? Wait, because you have 10 more questions. The categories of presentations objectives could be. I'm doing some spelling mistakes. Sorry. Here you to take, like
Oh, we know it's not AI. It's not written.
Yeah, I'm going to use AI next time.
No, don't. It's actually very authentic, Kostas. We can see that you put effort.
Yeah, but I should be aligned with the period. All the above, correct? Thank you. True or false? All the time you should provide the same presentation for the same topic. Think, why are you doing a presentation? For you or for the others? Correct. False. Yeah, the stakeholders can happen. For me, I have presented, I'm doing every time different presentations. Because even, if the stakeholders are the same, but probably you would like to present laser physics to laser physicists and, to people that they would like to buy the lasers. It's not the same.
Yes.
Quiz. The audience defines your content, the pace of your presentation, the language to use, all the above. All the above. I would like, okay, good.
I'd like to win your own ticket, Kostas. You're giving
Yeah, that's why I will say I help you, so I will.
You need to return from the States to Greece, so you need to win as well.
Okay, yeah, I stop. True or false? It is very important the audience perception for you. So I forgot to probably to highlight. True. I mean, when you are going to make a presentation, you need to say your motivation. What are you doing? But in order to have a credibility, you should demonstrate your expertise also as well. In order the people to believe that what are you going to discuss with them is credible. Of course, during your presentation, you are going to make a story, but at the very beginning, true or false? In your presentation, use only the necessary information, not extra. Remember, I'm not going to say. Wow. False. I'm wrong. I will tell, I was going to say true, because you remember, you should say less, you should show less and speak more. So only the necessary. So now the system, you know, technology. I underestimate my technology. So I will keep the false. Quiz. Multi-select, more than one. Why scientific communication is important? To fight the fake news, to help decision makers to receive the correct decision, to fund research, to reconfirm the experimental results and processes. All they were correct. Wow. We have a very close derby between Zin and Jan, and Sergio is waiting for a mistake to happen. What can go wrong with the presentation slides? Excellent. The derby keeps going. Of course, you know, time plays an important role. It's not only correct, how fast you are going to answer the correct. True or false? The impact project. Remember, I told you about the impact project. Is a virtual exchange, everything happen online, or is it face-to-face? To be or not to be? Tell me. The money comes from there. Good, you know, one, I took him out. Yes, it's a virtual exchange. Whatever we are doing is online, but however, you know, we are doing blended also activities that students and staff come, you know, to us, you know, summer, usually. All right, very close. I don't know who is going to win. Its main focus is nanotechnology of impact. Whatever we are doing has to do with nanotechnology. I didn't mention, I was unfair here. False, correct. The soft skills, multiculturalism, AI tools, digital literacy.
Presentation skills.
Yeah, remember I show you, you know, 2 coils that we are running.
Wow, what a change. Look, Kostas, no one.
I was, Noah, what a comeback. What a comeback. The last moment, but 2 more questions for Zin, and yeah, Noah is ahead. True or false? Along impact, we develop coils and beeps. Still have 2 more minutes. I'm on time.
You've eaten their break, so I owe them 20 minutes. Next time I will have a longer break. That's okay.
11.
Thank
True.
you.
Excellent. So the check here, let's see. Probably someone. Oh. And the last question, which is going to dictate the winner. Okay. Be careful. Be careful, my friends. Very important. Tack. True or false? 2 more coils are available through impact. Two or 3 or 4. How many did I mention? Oh, and let's see. Let's see. Ovo, I'm sorry. In the Olympics, you are going to get a medal.
Young is number 2.
Jan? Zin.
Wow.
Wait, let me stop sharing. I would like to thank you for your attention. How do I say? Let me stop this. Okay. Leave. Okay, so let me. So how do I say thank you? Toda rabba is in Israeli. In Chinese, how is thank you?
Yeah, if I say it again, we couldn't hear that.
You should say 谢谢 for thanks.
谢谢. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Who is the winner? Who is the winner?
I'm the winner.
Who? Peters? You were the
No.
winner?
I'm the winner.
The winner.
Shannon,
Oh, you are the winner. Okay, I will speak with Elena to arrange everything. Okay?
But actually he has the summer courses.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And be safe and, follow and register to our calls in order, to interact with, other European students, with yourself. We are learning. Multiculturalism is something that we would like to learn very much from China. So the floor is yours. So Elena, I finished. That's it from my side.
very much, Kostas. We appreciate your energy and your time, and so thank you so much. Okay, guys, we will meet tomorrow, same time, 2:15, 2:15. So see you tomorrow online. Take care. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.
Nice evening. Thank you, Rafael. See you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.
Bye.